Brian and Beverly seemed like the perfect couple, young, in love, and living their dream life. But one quiet morning, their friend looked through a window and saw a nightmare. No forced entry, no signs of robbery, just two lifeless bodies, and a neighbor hiding a horrifying secret. Brian and Beverly Mark were the kind of couple everyone admired. Adventurous, successful, and deeply in love, they had just moved into a peaceful Pennsylvania neighborhood to start the next chapter of their lives. Their days were filled with travel dreams, career success, and plans to grow a family. But everything changed one Saturday morning. Their close friend Stephen showed up early for a planned fishing trip with Brian. He knocked once, no answer. Twice, still silent. Figuring Brian had overslept, Stephen waited in his car. Hours passed. No calls, no texts. Worried, Stephen returned that afternoon and circled the house. Through a window, he saw the TV face down. And something else. A shape, large, still, and wrapped in a blanket. Shaken, he fetched a flashlight and peered again. Two bodies. Blood. Stephen froze, heart pounding. Then he grabbed his phone and called 911. When police arrived, they entered a chilling scene. Brian and Beverly lay side by side, covered by a blood-soaked blanket. There were no signs of forced entry. The front door was unlocked. Both had been shot 3 times in the back with a .22 caliber revolver. It was clear. This wasn't random, it was an execution. Oddly, nothing had been stolen. Phones, cash, and valuables were untouched. Drag marks on the floor suggested the killer had moved the bodies and attempted to clean the scene. Poorly. A broom with blood on its bristles was found behind the couch. Then came the first lead, a boot print pressed into blood-stained fabric. Forensics traced it to a rare construction boot used by a local company. Police turned to the suspects. First up, Stephen, the friend who discovered the scene. No alibi. But traffic cameras and fingerprint tests cleared him. Then came Jeremy, the shady neighbor with a criminal past. But he had an airtight alibi too. The case went cold. Just as hope was fading, investigators revisited a neighbor named Daniel, who lived across the street. At first, he claimed to hear strange noises the morning of the murder, possibly gunshots. Later, his story changed. Now, he claimed to have seen 2 men leaving the house. Detectives grew suspicious. From his window at dawn, could he really see that clearly? They ran his background, and what they found was disturbing. Daniel had served time for stabbing his own mother nearly 30 times in 1991. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, but released on parole. He had since moved into the neighborhood with his new wife Jennifer, violating parole and slipping through the system due to a database error that wiped his fingerprints. The man now offering help to police had killed before, but without evidence, they had to be careful. So they came up with a plan to trap him. Police invited Daniel to the station under the pretense of helping sketch the suspects he saw. While chatting, they casually collected his fingerprints. It was a match. Daniel's bloody palm print was found at the crime scene. When confronted, his confident attitude cracked. He confessed the night before the murder he'd been drinking and using drugs. At 5 a.m., he showed up at Brian's door, demanding $50 for a tattoo he had done weeks earlier. Brian refused. Words were exchanged. In a flash, Daniel pulled out a revolver and shot him. Beverly ran out. He shot her too. His wife, Jennifer, helped clean up, wiping prints and dragging bodies. The perfect couple destroyed over $50. After the murders, Daniel returned home and told his wife Jennifer what he had done. Shockingly, she didn't panic. Instead, she helped cover it up. Together, they went back to the house. Jennifer dragged Beverly's body next to Brian's and covered both with a blanket. She wiped down surfaces and used a broom to scrub bloody footprints off the floor. But their cleanup was sloppy. Prints, drag marks, and a bloody boot print were left behind. Daniel tossed the murder weapon into a nearby river, but it was never recovered. Eventually, the evidence was overwhelming. Daniel was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Jennifer claimed she helped out of fear. Though her involvement was clear, she received just 1 year for tampering with evidence. Neighbors were horrified. The man they waved to daily was a murderer hiding in plain sight. But just when the case seemed closed, a final twist emerged, one that made everything even darker. Years later, new homeowners began renovating the backyard of Daniel's childhood home. While digging near the foundation, they made a chilling discovery: human remains. Forensics confirmed it was a young woman who had gone missing in 1990. She lived in the same neighborhood as Daniel back then and had reportedly rejected his romantic advances. Investigators now believe Daniel killed her in a fit of rage and secretly buried her behind his mother's house. Her body had remained hidden for over 2 decades. This final revelation sealed Daniel's fate. He was handed a second life sentence, this time for the cold case murder no one even knew had happened. From a friendly face next door to a hidden serial killer, Daniel had fooled everyone. And the question remains: how many other monsters live just one door away?